Ever wondered how pilots ensure their aircraft is safe for flight? Welcome to the fascinating world of weight and balance in aviation, a critical aspect of pre-flight planning that guarantees safe and efficient operations. It's a delicate dance with numbers, as pilots harmonize the aircraft's weight and its distribution, ensuring it stays within the prescribed limits. An aircraft's performance and safety are directly influenced by its weight and balance. Too heavy, and the aircraft may struggle to take off or climb. Poorly balanced, and it become unstable in flight. This is why meticulous calculations are necessary before every flight, as even minor errors can lead to major. Understanding weight and balance isn't just about crunching numbers, it's about understanding how an aircraft behaves in the air. It's about creating a harmonious relationship between the plane and the forces at play. So buckle up as we take you through the step-by-step process of calculating weight and balance. If you're as passionate about aviation as we are, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share our video. Let us know in the comments what other aviation topics you'd love to see us cover next. The first step in calculating weight and balance is gathering the necessary data. This crucial information is found in the aircraft's Pilot Operating Handbook, or POH. Now, the POH isn't just an ordinary manual. It's a comprehensive guide that provides specific details about the aircraft, from its performance capabilities to its maintenance requirements. But for our purpose today, we're interested in one thing: the empty weight and balance data. This data represents the aircraft's weight when devoid of passengers, cargo, and usable fuel. It's a baseline figure that we'll use as a starting point in our calculations. And remember, each aircraft has its own unique POH, so make sure you're consulting the correct manual for the plane you're flying. Once the data is collected, we move to the next step: creating a weight and balance table. Creating a weight and balance table is essential for organizing our data. Now, what's a weight and balance table, you ask? It's a simple tool that allows us to record and manage all the important data for the weight and balance of our aircraft. Think of it as a one-stop shop for all your weight and balance needs. To create this table, we start by setting out columns for each category of weight we'll be dealing with. This includes the aircraft's empty weight, the weight of passengers, baggage, and fuel. Next to each of these, we'll add a column for arms. The arm is the distance from a reference point, called the datum, to the center of gravity of the item in question. Once your table is set up, you simply fill in the weights and arms for each item. Remember, these numbers are not static. They can change from flight to flight depending on a variety of factors such as the number of passengers, the amount of baggage, and the fuel load. With our table ready, we can now proceed to calculate weights and arms. Now comes the fun part: doing some calculations. To begin, we need to determine the weight of the passengers, baggage, and fuel. Passengers and baggage can be weighed directly, while fuel weight is calculated based on the volume of fuel and its specific gravity. Remember, these weights are in addition to the aircraft's empty weight, which includes the weight of the aircraft structure, systems, and other fixed equipment. Now, for each of these weights, we need to find the corresponding arm. The arm is the distance from a reference point known as the datum to the center of gravity of the item. It's usually provided in the aircraft's Pilot Operating Handbook. Once we have the weights and arms, we can calculate the moment of each item by simply multiplying its weight by its arm. The moment gives us a measure of the item's tendency to cause the aircraft to rotate about the datum. After these calculations, we can determine the gross weight and total moment, but we'll dive into that in the next scene. Stay tuned. It's time to find out the total weight of our aircraft. To get this, we simply add together all the individual weights we've calculated so far. This includes the weight of the aircraft itself, the weight of the passengers, the weight of the baggage, and the weight of the fuel. This sum gives us the gross weight of the aircraft, a crucial figure to know for safe flight operations. But we're not done yet. Next, we need to calculate the total moment. Remember, a moment is the product of a weight and its arm, a measure of how far that weight is from the reference datum. To find the total moment, we add up all the individual moments we've calculated. This includes the moments for the aircraft, the passengers, the baggage, and the fuel. By determining the gross weight and the total moment, we gain a clearer picture of our aircraft's weight distribution and balance. This helps us ensure that our aircraft is within its safe flight envelope, ready to take to the skies. With these figures in hand, we can now find the center of gravity. The center of gravity is crucial for aircraft stability. This statement is more than just a truism, it's a fundamental principle of aviation. The center of gravity, or CG, is the point at which the aircraft would balance if it were possible to suspend it at that point. It's the focal point of the weight of the aircraft, and its location is vital for the stability and safety of the flight. Now, how do we calculate the CG? It's quite simple, really. we divide the total moment by the gross weight. The moment, remember, is the product of the weight of an item and its distance or arm from the reference datum. By adding up all the moments, for the passengers, baggage, fuel, and everything else on board, and dividing by the gross weight, we find the CG. But finding the CG is only half the battle. The next step is to check the CG against the limits specified in the Pilot Operating Handbook, or POH. These limits, expressed as a range of distances from the reference datum, define the safe operating envelope for the aircraft. If the CG falls within this range, then we're good to go. The aircraft is balanced, and it will fly as expected. If the CG is not within the specified limits, adjustments are necessary. This could mean redistributing the weight in the aircraft, perhaps by moving baggage or adjusting the fuel load. It's a critical step in the process, as an improperly balanced aircraft can be difficult to control and may even be unsafe to fly. So take the time to get it right. Your safety and the safety of those flying with you depends on it. Sometimes adjustments are needed to ensure a safe flight. Now let's imagine you've done all the calculations, but your center of gravity doesn't fall within the limits specified in the Pilot Operating Handbook. What do you do then? Well, it's time to make some adjustments. You might need to redistribute the weight within the aircraft. For instance, perhaps shifting some cargo or luggage from the front to the back, or vice versa. If that's not enough, another option is to adjust the fuel load. This could mean burning off or dumping some fuel if it's safe and permissible to do so. But remember, any changes you make must be recalculated to ensure the center of gravity is now within the correct range. So you've gathered the data, created your table, done the math, checked the limits, and made the necessary adjustments. What's the final step? Documentation. It's not just about getting the numbers right, it's also about keeping a record of them. Each weight and balance calculation you perform should be documented for reference during the flight. This is not just a good practice, it's a requirement in many jurisdictions. Your documentation should clearly show the weights and arms of all items, the total weight and moment, and the final center of gravity. It should also indicate any adjustments made and how they affected the overall balance. This record can be a lifesaver in case of any unexpected situations during the flight. In essence, calculating weight and balance is like a dance, a choreography of numbers and safety measures. It's a vital part of pre-flight planning that ensures your aircraft operates within its safe flight envelope. So that's how pilots ensure their aircraft is safe for flight, by calculating weight and balance. Every flight is a new challenge, a new set of calculations, and a new opportunity to ensure the safety and success of your journey. To recap, calculating weight and balance is a critical step in pre-flight planning. We've walked through a comprehensive process, starting with gathering vital aircraft data from the Pilot Operating Handbook. We then created a weight and balance table, carefully recording weights and arms for all items, which helped us determine the gross weight and total moment of the aircraft. From there, we found the center of gravity by dividing the total moment by the gross weight. It was essential to compare this calculated center of gravity with the limit specified in the handbook, ensuring it fell within the safe range. If it didn't, we discussed how to make necessary adjustments, redistributing weight, or adjusting the fuel load as needed. Finally, we emphasized the importance of documenting all these calculations for reference during flight. Each step contributes to the overall safety and regulatory compliance of your flight. Remember, practice makes perfect. Ensure to perform these calculations before every flight to ensure safety and compliance with regulations.